Have you heard? Has anyone told you? The rumor of the North American closure. It's said that anyone playing a mobile game they've gotten attached to will log in and find the game has gone offline. Permanently. Oh, the despair. It's the newest rumor among the gamers in the game center of the Sakai Award. Today, instead of dwelling on the closure of the mobile game Magia Record, which really upset a lot of fans, myself included, I wanted to talk about its evolution, gameplay, and personal impact on me over the year and some change of its run. Just in case it wasn't implicit, I will be talking about spoilers from both the anime and the mobile game, so don't say I didn't warn you. In June of 2019, Aniplex of America took the merciful light of Madoka, may she be praised, and shone it upon the North American fans of Madoka Magica. Though the game originally released in Japan in 2017, the English release brought in at least 25,000 pre-registers despite only being available in the US and Canada. Unless you have a VPN. No, this video isn't sponsored. I remember personally being so excited to hear it was coming to the US. I hadn't heard about it before. My partner told me about it in May of 2019. Madoka Magica is a series that we both held really dear, and we were so excited to start playing the spin-off game. The worst part? It was just as awesome as I had hoped. Honestly, if I had known the game was going to shut down so soon, I'd have just started on the Japanese server instead. When the game first released, the rather quick pace at which we got events, called NA Tempo by the fanbase, was pretty awesome. F4 Samurai and Aniplex of America really seemed like they cared about getting us to the same place as the Japanese server was in the story. Unfortunately, that meant that there was no space between events for players to catch their breath, to grind for gems, or to get paid by their jobs before another OG waifu was announced. If I recall correctly, the first few Fate Leaves on the North American server were just that, the Holy Quintet. In fact, I rather frustratingly remember sitting in an Xbox party with some of my friends, loudly and more frustratingly bemoaning how little free currency I could get, throwing desperate single pulls in the last couple hours leading up to the maintenance that would remove one Kyoko Sakura's Fate Leaf from the game. I finally got her. My fiancé took my phone and bought me gems to mercy. He knows how much I love her. Less than 10 minutes before 5 a.m. 5 a.m. The first North American exclusive thing we got, as far as I can tell at the time of writing this script, were the Tercio formations. They were absolute hell to go against in mirrors, but absolutely brilliant just the same. They fixed this long-standing problem with light and dark type girls being the meta and OP, and as someone who mained with fire type girls, that was pretty great. On March 27, 2020, Ashley Taylor's Fate Leaf went live. We had known about her since November of 2019. She was unveiled at Anime NYC during our North American server Thanksgiving event. She was a region-exclusive girl, just for the North American server, and a Godzilla of a blast girl at that. She was cute, she had her own English voice acting, and to me was a sign of our server's possible longevity. When she released, much like the Tercios, it felt like we weren't being left behind, and even more like we were being given our own new playthings to try. As much as I hate to admit it, I'm torn on the idea that Ashley may one day end up on the JP or Chinese servers. On one hand, she was amazing and fun, and I hate to see her character die after less than a year. But on the other hand, if they eventually put her on these servers, why wouldn't they let us transfer out our accounts? I'll be the first to admit that the combat in Magia Record isn't anything special, but it was a novel concept to me at the time of release. You can have up to 5 girls, 4 of your own, and 1 support on a team. There are 3 kinds of basic attacks: a cell for charging your MP, charge to increase the amount of damage and or MP of the next disc, and blast for blasting. Each girl has a disc ratio of each kind of attacking disc, meaning that in certain circumstances you'll want to have a team mostly composed of a cell, or blast girls, or what have you. As cool as the system is, the actual PvE battles can be boring. Later introductions of challenge and EX missions for events up the difficulty curve, and events like Hawa Hawa, Wait You Got It Wrong, and Whereabouts of the Feather, Wings in the Wind in NA, pushed your team, your girls, your Memoria, and even your sanity to their limits. These events were special for no reason other than your girls' HP loss carried from mission to mission, meaning the more times you used your favorites, the more likely they were to fall in the line of battle and become unusable until the daily were over, when all the girls who had died would be revived. This forced you to use girls you almost never would, your capped 4 stars and welfare girls like Umika, Arisa, Ayame, Hayate too, but she's too good for that, okay? I actually used her, just to have a chance at finishing the event. I was always credit mirrors, the AI-driven PvP mode, so saying I managed to fully clear both Hawa Hawa and Wings in the Wind is my pride point. But I won't lie to you, I don't think any fan of Magia Record will. The reason we played the game was 100% for the girls, or maybe for some of the tart whales, the PvP. Fans cared about not just the original Holy Quintet, but also the girls of Mikazuki Via, Tart and her entourage of Holy Knights, for Kazumi and the girls of the Pleiades Saints, or any number of the new original girls. Every single one of them has a motto as a magical girl, as a person, as a resident of Kamihama. The story itself actually follows Iraha Tamaki, a pink-haired girl who I'm honestly surprised didn't witch out before the beginning of the story. She's meek, unassuming, and doesn't really have any friends. She's supposedly an only child, spoiler alert she isn't, but still comes to Kamihama to look for her younger sister. Yachio is the leader of the eastern part of the city, and one of the most veteran magical girls takes offense to her trespassing. It isn't just the trespassing, she's probably actually worried about Iraha also dying. Witches in Kamihama are a completely different level of strong. I think I just came up with a theory about soul gem manipulation and the strength of the witches in Kamihama. God damn it, Mitama. It goes from that to finding out that witches are becoming increasingly rare elsewhere around the world and centering in on Kamihama. Not only that, but rumors are abounding. Come to Kamihama City. Here, magical girls can be saved. I'm not going to bore you with more vague details, so it really boils down to Iraha discovering her self-worth while living and fighting witches with Yachio, Sana, Felicia, and sometimes Saruno, finding her sister and finding out that Ui was technically a part of the Wings of the Magius. Everyone just forgot about her because magic. Apparently Ui was also the conscience of both Toka and Nimue, and at least technically. Hooray! And damn, let me tell you, experiencing that story in a drip feed form with supplemental story events was just amazing. I know that, like anything else, there are people who didn't like the story. In fact, I'm part of the crowd who feels that the anime tries too hard to capture the psychological horror of the original anime by not filling in details, but maybe that's also a curse of it being connected to the game, to try and make players feel cool for understanding certain things, a lot gets left unsaid. I can basically promise you won't understand the anime unless you also played the mobile game. Season 2 had better be stellar. Even so, girls like Ren, God she is my sweet baby child, and Rika, who is canonically a lesbian, Nanaka's Mafia, the Azalea House girls, and honestly, just literally every girl in that game is an amazing and fleshed out character in her own right. They deserved better here. So here's the thing. Aniplex of America and F4 Samurai screwed up. To this day, we still don't understand the reason for the closure. The subreddit speculated for a while that it was lack of income, but without a solid statement, we still don't really know. Our first anniversary event was comparatively sparse to the Japanese one. That should have been my first clue to the closure, I feel like. Not long after that, Kyoko's swimsuit unit came up, Tart reran, and all of a sudden, bam. Server closure, set for the day after my birthday. I'm not proud of it, but I'm among the swaths of people who scrambled to get what money they could back from Aniplex. I had just spent money, and a decent chunk of it, on Kyoko's swimsuit unit, and it gave me a sense of vindication to get the refunds. They didn't even ban my North American account. Not that it would have meant much if they had. Then, they extended the closure to the end of October. We'll give you a gallery mode, they said. That didn't mean anything. Thank God for the multitudes of people who took the time to archive the story, because gallery mode didn't give us so much as even a slight hint of the stories of these girls, and still kept a file size of about 6 gigabytes for a now defunct mobile game. Those official translations, without those archives, would be lost in some set of files somewhere. As frustrated as I was, and apparently still am about the handling of the mobile game here in America, I still ultimately really loved it. Magia Record was the first Madoka side story I ever experienced, and through it I got to meet girls from the other side stories like Oriko and Suzune and Tart. This mobile game reignited my deep burning love for my first serious anime, and as sad as the loss is, I'm still really glad I got to experience the game. So, for now, I'll stick with hopping through new mobile games every week until I find one that can scratch the itch the way Magia Record did. Hey, thanks for getting to the end of the video. I really appreciate you watching. If you're interested, I've got links to my social media down in the description, as well as links to my Twitch channel where you can watch me fool around on games once or twice a week. I'm always live on Tuesday, starting at 4 PM Central, and I hope to make more videos like this soon. I've been having a lot of fun doing YouTube. Thanks again!